game came out today. Beta came out today for Darktide, which is the game I'm
Have you played
all into. Oh yeah, I played all day today.
Nice.
Did they add more stuff?
Yeah, they opened up a bunch more stuff. Darktide is a Warhammer 40k universe cooperative game where you smash and slash and shoot and like huge hordes of enemies. And the pre-order beta is live right now, and it will be for like the next week or two or something like that. And they're going to slowly like open it up.
You
like
shoot a lot. Would you call it a gun game? Okay.
So it depends on the character.
Yeah.
The character that I would recommend to you is like the guardsman. He's like the closest thing to a first-person shooter like guy there is. He can spam grenades. He shoots a lot. He gets headshot multipliers. You're going to have to get your sword out a lot though and defend yourself because it's 50-50. You can just be more like 70-30 if that makes sense. But 30% of the time you're
the
smashing
tank character seems like he's going to be using his gun a minority of the time.
So there's a character called an Ogren. This is a human who grew up on a giant Earth, right? A planet with heavy gravity. So he weighs like 2,000 pounds. He's like 4 times taller than a normal man. They're incredibly huge. They have the intelligence of about a 2-year-old child, though. The smartest Ogren ever could count to 4 and spell his own name, and his name was short. So his name was Bob.
I assume this is all like voice and dialogue. You learned this as in game, like as they snip at each other.
So you look at this guy and you think tank. Well, I look at him and I see, oh yeah, he's got like 30% more health than we do, something like that, roughly 25% more, 50% more, whatever it is. But he's also 4 times bigger and like literally bigger. And the enemies are shooting.
Yeah.
So he's not as much of a tank as you might think because he's so goddamn big. You kind of have to build that class to utilize toughness, which is like your shield in that game. But he is really funny. He has silly voice lines. He's like, "Oh, Ogren smash!" Like this is just dumb shit. And
yeah, I've lost more blood than this.
His special attack, like my special attack, I like spin the blade and do a little uppercut flick with it, kind of slick. His special attack is a pimp slap because he's so goddamn big that a pimp slap kills a man. he just goes whack, and blood and gore fly as he like slings this guy against the wall. So I'm gonna be playing a ton more.
Dude, 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks until it comes out for real. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean you can play tonight if you wanted to. Pre-order that bitch and then cancel the pre-order if you want to. I mean, pre-order it and get in there and play. We're playing. I'm playing all night. It's been a ton of fun. Playing all night. And I got my coffee ready to go.
Are you still playing the same character?
So the characters from the previous beta, I'll call it the alpha, the pre-beta, whatever. That's all gone away. However, the intention is that whatever is done in the current beta that we're in right now will carry over to the main game, barring any like complications that might arise, like maybe that breaks the game and they have to erase it. But the plan is to let it carry over. I know what character I want to play. I'm going to do the Zealot. I've watched a lot of videos. I've done a lot of research. That's my lady. She's super hardcore. I already made my character. Spent a lot of time picking out her tattoos and facial scars. We can do her hair just right. Doing her backstory, figuring out like what brought her to this place. So
you do pick a
backstory,
which I do, which is interesting.
I followed a false prophet. I was misled.
Does it change anything? The backstory?
I think it changes your voice lines and like how you communicate with your teammates. But like you pick like, oh, I'll be Ogren or whatever, and I didn't care because it was the alpha, and so I picked the tank character, and then it was like, what planet are you from? And like you pick like among those and like the little descriptions there of like a desolate wasteland where only the hardest are forged into true Ogren, and then other ones where it's like it's not too bad, and like and then it changes how he is.
So word on the street on the internet is that a very small group of the developers were unhappy with the way with the game's direction. Initially, they felt that they weren't represented by the characters. And so they said that about 30% of dev time and effort they're going forward was spent on this create a character shit. So that everybody can have a character that represents them.
Who cares? They're like goblins in space.
Look, again, this is just a rumor. Again, this is my rumor from the internet. But
how am I going to empathize with this online demon man if he doesn't also have too big of a head?
He needs to look like me.
He has to look like me.
One of the
So
nice thing though, like because that does annoy me a little. They said that this anonymous person who's a friend that works there claimed that like a lot of content got cut, like maps and characters and stuff, because they spent so much time on this creative character stuff that frankly I didn't care about. The predecessor game, Vermintide 2, there's like it's like 4 guys and you know 3 guys and a girl or whatever who are going on an adventure, and like they have names and you know them and they have
and you
personalities.
Can like change their shirt and that's about it.
The same voice actor is in this one. The character I picked, you can have 3 different voice actresses. So
Man,
really
those are some
all
bad
of the
priorities.
Yeah, I
This
like
game was supposed to come out like 8 months ago, right? And they were futzing around with create a class. Like that's
I don't know
create a character.
I don't know if that's what took them so long, but I kind of wish they had.
Time.
Here's what's really irking me right now. There's still no goddamn leaderboard. We still don't know who got the most kills. It makes me like not want to try at times. I'm like, they got it. Like, why would I come over there and help you with your shit? Like, I think you'll be okay. I'll pick you up if you go down. Like,
I don't want to play with you until they get those scores up.
Why? Like now nobody knows
that you let me die.
I was playing earlier and I'm like, I think I carried the fuck out of this game, but I have no idea. And the worst part is, I bet they don't know they got carried and they think they're good. They're not going to go practice now.
It's like taxes in real life.
You should know that you stink so that you go practice. Like when I first started, I stunk and I watched hours of video and I practiced and I learned combinations until I was good enough to like beat the harder difficulties and I actually got better. But we have no idea who's good or bad because there's no goddamn leaderboards. You just kind of have to, I don't know, keep count as you go. What do you do?
You always min-max games. Like, is that what it's called? Min-maxing? Where like when you got into like Age of Mythology with me like a few years ago, you immediately, like the way I always would like play those games was like try and figure it out like over time. Like, oh, I guess I did too much in food. I didn't collect enough stone or gold or whatever. You would like be like, yeah, I watched a video, exactly this many villagers on this, and at this time do this, and if it gets to 7 minutes and I don't have this, I quit and restart. And like you like train yourself at those games to get good.
Yeah, because I'm not exactly talented as far as like moving buttons around, but I've got a lot of work ethic when it comes to getting good at something. So I'll always outwork my my opposition when it comes to that. That's how I play Rust. Like when Mitty and I play duos of Rust, we're probably among the bottom 20% in skill in the lobby, but we'll be in the top 80 or 90% as far as like territory gained, like fights won, all that, like any metric that you could like measure, because we're on day 1, we work a 28-hour day. We don't stop. We go into the next day. And then we sleep for as little as we can stand, like 5 hours, 6 hours. And then we do another 14-hour day. And we have already put a day on the competition by doing that. So by day 3, we're ready to like fuck shit up. And they're way behind. So like we just outwork the competition in a game that's supposed to be about gunfights.
Right.
We just went and fucking hit trees for hours on end, motherfucker. We're coming for you. Yeah, I like grinding games like that. I'm gonna grind this game. This is a game that'll take hours and hours of grinding to get better weapons. It's also a game that has a lot of weapons. Now they've unlocked a lot more weapons than were previously available. So I don't know. I want that giant magical hammer thing.
That like character like upgrade where like as you level up you can be like, oh, I want more damage resistance or whatever. That's way more robust than it was in the previous Vermintide. Like you have a lot more options seemingly for like all of your eventual upgrades and way more combinations of it is what I noticed. Because like
so
if you go back to regular Vermintide, there's not a ton.
You have 3 selections for 5 skills. You unlock them at 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 and 30, those levels. You're able to synergize those together, those perks, I'll call them, if you're familiar with like COD, to like synergize maybe a character who's just really tough, or maybe a character who's really fast, or maybe a character who's whatever you want to do. Sure. And there's a lot of different ways you can play the game. So yeah, I'm real excited about it. Anybody who wants to play it, pre-order the fucking game, play the beta, and then just cancel pre-order if you don't want to play it.